In 2020, a small group of programmers locked over $1 billion into a digital vault, with no bank, no middleman, and no way to be shut down. What they built changed finance forever. This is the story of DeFi. Let's talk about money. Specifically, let's talk about why the way you use money right now is fundamentally broken and why billions of people around the world are starting to realize it. Right now, if you want to send money to a family member across the world, you go through a bank. The bank takes a cut, then a wire service takes a cut, then the receiving bank takes a cut. By the time your money arrives, 2 to 5 business days later, you might have lost 10% of it to fees alone. Want a loan? You need a credit score. You need collateral. You need to prove your income, your history, your identity, all just to borrow money you'll pay back with interest. And if you live in a developing country, the bank might not even be available to you. 1.4 billion people on this planet remain completely unbanked, locked out of the global financial system by geography, poverty, or circumstance. The traditional financial system was built for a different era. It was slow, it was expensive, it was exclusive, and it was controlled by a handful of institutions who decided who deserved access and who didn't. That system is now being challenged from within the internet itself. DeFi stands for decentralized finance, and the word that matters most there is decentralized. In traditional finance, a central authority, a bank, a government, an institution, holds your money and controls what you can do with it. They can freeze your account, they can deny your transaction, they can decide you're too risky to serve. DeFi removes that central authority entirely. Instead of a bank holding your money, a smart contract does. A smart contract is a self-executing piece of code that lives on a blockchain, a distributed ledger replicated across thousands of computers around the world. No single person controls it. No government can shut it down. The rules are written in code, and they execute automatically, transparently, and permanently. Imagine a vending machine. You put in money, it gives you a product. No cashier required. Now imagine a vending machine that can give you a loan, earn you interest, let you trade currencies, or insure your assets, all without a intermediary, all available to anyone with an internet connection. That is DeFi in its simplest form. The earliest and most fundamental DeFi application was the decentralized exchange, or DEX. Instead of sending your cryptocurrency to a centralized exchange like Coinbase and trusting them to handle your assets, a DEX lets you trade directly from your own wallet, peer-to-peer, through smart contracts. No account needed, no ID required, no custodian holding your coins. In 2019, the total value locked in DeFi protocols was about $600 million. A year later, it crossed $1 billion. Then it kept going. By the peak of the 2021 bull market, over $250 billion in cryptocurrency was locked into DeFi protocols, earning yield, providing liquidity, and powering an entirely new financial ecosystem that had been built in just a few years. The catalyst was something called yield farming. DeFi protocols needed liquidity. They needed users to deposit their crypto assets so others could borrow and trade against them. To attract that liquidity, protocols offered rewards, often paid in their own governance tokens. The returns were staggering. Some protocols offered annual percentage yields of hundreds, even thousands of percent during peak periods. Was it sustainable? No. Was it speculative? Absolutely. But it introduced the world to a new concept. Your assets could work for you automatically, around the clock, without needing a broker, a bank, or anyone's permission. Protocols like Uniswap, Aave, Compound, and Curve became household names in crypto circles. Uniswap, a decentralized exchange that lets anyone swap tokens using an automated market maker algorithm, processed more trading volume than some traditional stock exchanges at its peak. This wasn't theoretical anymore. This was real money, real transactions, real people earning real returns, on a system that no one owned and no one could stop. But this is where we have to be honest with you, because DeFi is not without its very serious risks. Smart contracts are code, and code has bugs. In 2022 alone, over $3 billion was stolen from DeFi protocols through hacks, exploits, and vulnerabilities in smart contract code. The Ronin bridge hack, which drained $625 million from an Ethereum sidechain, remains one of the largest crypto thefts in history. Then there are economic exploits. Flash loan attacks allow sophisticated actors to borrow enormous sums instantly, manipulate markets in a single transaction, and repay the loan, all within one block, all without any starting capital. It's a kind of financial attack that simply doesn't exist in traditional finance. And there's the rug pull, a uniquely DeFi phenomenon where anonymous developers create a new token, attract investment, drain the liquidity pool, and disappear, with no regulatory oversight, and often no identity attached to a protocol's creators. The risk of fraud is real. Volatility compounds everything. When the assets you've deposited crash in value, the yields you are earning may not compensate for the loss. Impermanent loss, the hidden cost of providing liquidity in an automated market maker, can quietly erode your returns, even when the protocol itself is working perfectly. The DeFi space is young, unregulated, and unforgiving. The promise is enormous, but the risks demand respect. Despite the risks, and they are substantial, the trajectory of DeFi is undeniable. Regulators are finally paying attention. The European Union's MiCA framework, the Markets in Crypto Assets Regulation, represents the first comprehensive attempt to bring legal clarity to crypto and DeFi in a major economic bloc. In the United States, the regulatory landscape is evolving rapidly, with lawmakers and agencies debating how to govern an asset class that resists conventional classification. But the technology itself keeps advancing faster than regulation can catch up. Layer 2 scaling solutions like Arbitrum, Optimism, and the Ethereum L2 ecosystem have dramatically reduced transaction costs on Ethereum, making DeFi accessible to smaller investors who were previously priced out by high gas fees. Real-world asset tokenization, where traditional assets like real estate, bonds, and commodities are represented as tokens on a blockchain, is bridging the gap between traditional finance and DeFi. BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, has already tokenized the money market fund on Ethereum. When institutions like that make that move, it signals that the line between traditional finance and decentralized finance is blurring. The vision, a permissionless, global, open financial system that anyone can access from a smartphone, is not yet fully realized. But the infrastructure being built today is laying the foundation for something that may ultimately reshape how money moves around the world. The story of DeFi is still being written. It's messy, it's volatile, it's exciting, and it's happening right now at a speed that most people can't keep up with. That's exactly why we're here. At Crypto Compass, our mission is to cut through the noise and give you the deep, honest analysis you need to understand what's really happening in crypto and DeFi, without the hype, without the shilling, and without the fluff. If this video helped you understand something you didn't before, hit that subscribe button and join a community of people who want to learn, not just speculate. New videos drop every week. We'll see you in the next one.